Silver is dominating gold. Plus, I share another crazy storage story, this time from a subscriber. Use the time codes below to go to those parts straight away, or if you're watching this live, you get to enjoy everything here on Good Morning Stackers. My name is Joe Main. I've been working in the Australian bullion industry for the last 11 years. Been a stacker for longer than that. This is the point in the show, in the first minute of the show, where you grab your tasty beverage. Could be a beverage of your choice, whatever it is. I don't judge. Just keep it healthy, people. I'm going to get rid of that. I've got to mute that one right there. And grab your tasty beverage, funky people. In the first minute of the show, we do the synchronized slurp. That's where you grab the tasty beverage and we slurp it together. It's becoming a thing, I can tell you. So many comments on yesterday's video about slurp time. Got to slurp it, all that stuff. So grab your tasty beverage in the next 8 seconds. Again, whether you've got a mug or whatever kind of vessel, you do what you got to do. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Slurpiness is good. You can choose to slurp it if you want. You don't have to slurp it. It's up to you. But once again, people, use the time codes below. And let's do some quick shout outs, all that stuff. So we do shout outs. We do a quick little bit. I've got to mention my brand partner, Perth Bullion Exchange. I've mentioned them, but I might mention them again in a little bit. And we talk about our topic of the day. So we're going to talk about how silver is dominating gold. The gold to silver ratio is tanking at the moment, but there's some major support levels. We have to talk about that. And we have a fun time here at the GMS family. Hit the big red subscribe button to join the winning team. 265 subscribers in only, I think this is the 6th week of the show. So we're just doing absolutely great guns. So whether you're a stacker in Australia or stacker from anywhere else in the world, you could be watching this in your own time zone right now. Welcome to all the people on Reddit too. So I shared this live link on Reddit on Wall Street Silver and Silver DJing Club. Hello to both of you, of those and everyone there who has joined. So let's do some quick shout outs and go from there. Let's go. Where have we started from? Well, here. Where David Williams, where is your GMS? Thank you, young man. Where's your GMS? Hey ho. Invoke Legend is back on. I think I've seen you on this live show before. If it's your first time though, welcome, Invoke Legend, but I'm pretty sure I've seen you before. Florida Man. Florida Man's back. Mark Florida. I have dubbed you Florida Man, and you are going to keep that mantle, and you will like it, sir. Missed a few live episodes and not looking good for this morning right now. I'm sorry to hear that, but I just wanted to check in and say g'day to y'all in case I cannot be live. Well, g'day, Florida Man. G'day, Mark Florida. He says, made it for at least a little while. G'day, David. Now, I don't think I have my usual GMS people on because, here he is now. Here they are. CT, GMS, because I started this half an hour earlier than normal. I've been doing it at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I did it at 9:30 this morning. It's catching a few of you out. I'm trying my best, I think. I'm trying to wheedle this back to a little bit earlier and earlier. I'm trying to figure out the way I can do it in my own life here, where I can do it a little bit earlier because it takes up actually kind of half my day, really, and I've got other stuff to do. So I'm trying to do it a bit earlier. I really want to do it at like early morning. I'm talking like 7:30 a.m., 8 a.m., but with kids and school and things. So I'm actually looking for some office space. So I might come from a different location. You never know. So Mark says, we already said that one. And yeah, and CT said GMS. So I reckon Tony Pearson will be on soon. Black Cole will be on soon. He's going to be so annoyed that he missed doing the first GMS. Sucked in. So that's it, people. So we'll do some quick shout outs, of course. Let me get rid of this because I do know everything's working and fine. So I don't need to see myself like that, although I can see myself directly like this. 6:30. CT says 6:30 p.m. in the middle of the US. I didn't know. Oh no, because CT, you're from Texas. That's right. You're from the Lone Star State. I think you're the Texan. Is that correct? Remind me if I'm wrong, CT. I think you are the Texan. Can I just tell you very quickly, man? I lived in the States. I lived in New York. I lived in Manhattan. Well, technically, I lived in Manhattan for a little bit. Then I lived in Queens for a while, and I lived in New Jersey, just on the border, right on the border, just across the Hudson River, under the Lincoln Tunnel. I lived in Weehawken, New Jersey for about a year or so. I was studying over there, but I never got to Texas. And I was because I was really busy and studying and doing all that stuff. And I just never got to see the rest of the country. I spent some time in LA a little bit. I did go to Washington, D.C., but I never got to Boston. I never got to Texas. I never got to, all the places I really wanted to, New Orleans and all those places. Oh, my God. But Texas, I really want to go to Texas for a whole bunch of different reasons. But I won't explain those reasons. But I want to visit Texas. He says, God bless Texas. Correct. God bless Texas, indeed. David Williams says, don't mess with Texas. No, it's one of the reasons why I want to go there. I would really highly consider if I was to move to the States, I'd probably move to Texas or Florida, maybe. But the Florida heat, and I'm from Melbourne, we're a slightly colder climate. Can't do the humidity. Oh, the humidity. GMS, lucky to catch the live. You are lucky. Yes, I started it half an hour earlier. Now, here we go. Ben Ferrugia says, morning, Joe. What a move overnight. Time codes, people. Let's talk about the move overnight in silver versus gold and the other precious metals. So we're going to do the time codes right now. We'll do that now, and then I'll talk about my brand partner, Perth Bullion Exchange, at some time in between the show. I might not always start with the sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. So let's take a look at the gold to silver ratio. Oh my goodness. Let me share the screen right here. We're all a little bit pumped today, aren't we? It's good. So, funky people, let's look at the gold to silver ratio. Pew! Like that. Now, in the last 24 hours, now why is this? So what am I talking about here? If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is the gold to silver ratio. It measures the price of gold divided by the price of silver. You get this number. Currently, it's at 74. So as you see this number go up, as you see the green, that means gold's outperforming silver. They could both be going up or down. They could both be tanking, or they could both be moonshotting, but it measures the relationship to each other. So when this goes up, gold is outperforming silver. When this goes down, silver is outperforming gold, and has it been outperforming in the last few weeks? In particular, of course, we had been talking about this level right here, very key level, which needed to remain a support, that 83 level, which I had been blasting you with. Of course, hit the big red subscribe button if you want to keep to date on all the precious metals analysis. I do one every single weekday, including the gold to silver ratio. I said that needed to hold, and if that didn't hold, if that closed a month below, then we are going to see the next level, and that was at 80. In the last couple of weeks, that just shot straight through. So the next level I had been talking about was 75, and I said we might see some support at 75, and we certainly did. We saw 1 week where we came down to that spike of 75. It's very clear stuff here. It's clear stuff. It's just simple support and resistance. So it's not soothsaying, oh my God, I'm a God, or anything like that. It's simple stuff. So you could definitely see there was going to be support at 75. And I said, of course, 75 needed to hold. And if it didn't, we're heading down further. Duh. If it doesn't hold, you head down further. Yeah, really? It's simple stuff. But in the last day, so here's what we need to look at. And I'll go back separately and do silver and gold and platinum, but I just want to show you quickly the prices. Here's gold, right? We were talking about the gold in USD. Using the tradingview.com website, it's priced in USD, 2,350. We've been talking about this resistance level of 2,350. So far, it's still hovering around there. So it hasn't really moved all that much. It did go up a little bit, but it's finding that resistance. Then with silver, we had been talking about the $31 resistance level right here. And I was suggesting that, in order to be confident that we would see some higher prices coming really soon, it has to break above 31, because we had this break, we had a hold, had a fast move to the downside. It did fail, so it was a fast move down, and we really needed, this was going to be resistance or potential resistance, and it needed to break through there and, close above for at least a day in order to say, oh, something's happening here with silver. So what's happened is gold's kind of remained roughly the same. It's gone up a little bit, but in a smaller percentage. But silver, look at this. This is on the weekly time frame. Look at it on the daily. So we're around about 23. I think we're around about, $30.30 roughly. And then after the show, was it something I said? No, just kidding. We just rocketed up in the last 24 hours, right back over the $31 mark. And it has closed the day above it, which is a very positive sign. I'll come back to that. So that's the reason why you have seen the gold to silver ratio plummet below. We had that support level. This is on the daily time frame. We had that support level, and then the second time it got taken out, and now we're below it. So We're not, it's not all positive sailing yet for silver because we haven't closed the month of May below that 75 level. So this is what I was saying on the Gold and Silver Stackers Australia forum. I post there every morning. It's a private forum. Join there if you're an Australian stacker. I posted that. It's good to see it below the 75 level, but you would want to see on the monthly time frame it close the month below that 75 level. Because what can happen a lot of the time, and of course just look at previous candles here, you have lots of spikes, and generally the price usually spikes and then comes back up. So it's not very often that you see the tiny little, you might not be able to see that because my head's in the way, you don't see the tiny little spikes, right? You'll definitely see a move, but it might spike above. So there is every single chance that gold could catch up to silver or silver could come back down, and you see this gold to silver ratio spike back up here above that 75 level. If it closes the month above 75, then I'm going to say, oh, okay. It depends where it closes, so we'll keep an eye on that. But if it has a close above, then I'd say, okay, look, that might be a little bit of a pause on the gold to silver ratio for silver outperforming gold. And so you could see some, the month of June, come up to this kind of resistance level of that 80 level right there, or somewhere along this downtrend line. If it does close below 75 for the month in just a couple of days, in a few days, then I would say, ooh, it's closed below a very key support level. Very, very likely, or more likely, we have a test of the next major support. The next major support, and that doesn't mean it would be coming in June, but it's more likely if we close below 75 on a monthly time frame, this is more likely in play, and that's that major 70 level. My apologies, it's the major 70 level. What am I talking about? Let's go back all the way on this gold to silver ratio, all the way back to, can you see that? Yes, you can. Right there. Yep, over the left here, just above my head, above the logo. You can see here, this goes all the way back to 1998, so it's not a full historical gold to silver ratio, but it does go back. But look at this. Resistance level there. I'm about to burp, sorry. Pardon me. I should mute the camera, but it comes on too quick, and this is when you know you're watching live. So you have this, we get burps and slurps and everything. This is where you had a significant area of resistance at the 70 level. Back down, and then we broke through 70, I'll show you right here, and then it acted as, what do you know, as a bit of support. It was support here as well. Quick move below, and then spent a good bit of time underneath it. Of course, we came back up to this level. It was a cluster of support right here, and look at this, clusters of resistance as well. Resistance, major resistance there at 70 level. Come back up here, there. Look at that, for months. It was a big support level at that 70, and then sort of cluster-ish, you can't really call it that. Then we had that big peak, went to 125. What do you know? Back down to 70. It was an area of resistance right here, broke back up. So I find 70 to be a very large major support area on the gold to silver ratio. Okay, again, both prices could be going up or going down. It's just the relation between the two. So I would expect, once again, my call is, could be totally wrong, if the gold to silver ratio closes below 75 in May or any month, then I would suggest 70 is the next level, and it will be a significant level. I think it will be major support. I don't think you'd see a huge move all the way down straight away in that preceding month. From there, though, gold to silver ratio, if we do see some support and then it is taken out after 70, I mean, you've got this little interim level here. I'll pop that in. I just don't want to get I don't want it to get too liney, as I call it. Very technical term. You've got, I would say around there of 65 is a bit of an area, but gee, I'd be more inclined to say if you break and close below 70 on any month, then it's more likely that we're heading down towards your big level of 50 to 55, roughly. 55 I have heard is a significant level. That's around about there, but I'm inclined to say more like 50 for me. At the halfway point, it's a psychological value. Imagine buying silver back here at 125 and then waiting until it gets the psychological value of 50 and then swapping out your silver for gold and getting way much more than double the amount of gold in your hands than if you had have just bought gold back then. That makes sense. That's how the gold to silver ratio works. You can up your ounces in gold and silver by playing the gold to silver ratio over long periods of time. So that is great to see for silver holders. For gold holders, well, not so much, but if you're playing the ratio, that's okay. And if you're dollar cost averaging and you don't care about silver, then why do you care about the gold to silver ratio? It doesn't matter. As long as gold is going up in your fiat denominated currency and you're maintaining your wealth, that's as best as you really want to do with gold. Buying gold, do you do it to be super rich? Do you buy silver to be super rich? No, you're doing it to maintain your purchasing power over long periods of time. You want to maintain your wealth, and look, you may increase your wealth over time. That's the extra bonus, but you're doing it to maintain what you have. But we'll talk about, I think I'll talk about that in another topic. That's the gold to silver ratio right there, people. I'll do some quick comments and then we'll look at the silver price and the gold price and the platinum price separately to see where we've gone and where we could potentially find resistance and support levels in the next 24 hours or so. I would like to note on the monthly time frame, just look at the relative strength index on the gold to silver ratio. Phew, and we haven't spent any time in extremely I have to say extremely undervalued for gold. If you're talking about a fiat denominated currency here, you'd be saying extremely oversold in this area. But because of the gold to silver ratio, you've got to say we haven't spent time in gold being extremely undervalued against silver since all the way back here in the peak of the silver bull market in 2011. So it has a lot of room to move down. And if we're talking on the monthly time frame, that's why I think, because it's got so much room to move down to go into this extremely undervalued area for gold, that 50 level looks around about the level for me. Psychological value, major support, and we've got lots of room to move as well on the relative strength index. Am I saying that's happening in the next 2 months? No, that's got months and months and years to play out, if it were to play out. And we're talking, 2026, 2027 kind of thing, unless something like a black swan kind of happens, right? So that is the gold to silver ratio. Silver dominating gold right now. Props to everyone, etc. I'll share the screen. Not share the screen. I'll come back. Let's give a little bit of oomph to silver right now. If you're in the silver, if you're all silver, which I pretty much am, I have a little bit of gold and I don't even have it on me. I have a little gold ring as well, a 1/4 ounce gold ring that I bought when I went traveling to Europe. But I'm pretty much all silver. So let's do some comments, etc. And then we will go back and look at silver and gold, etc. Delita's in the house. Wyoming or that area. Low population density, cattle everywhere, good values in the population. Yeah, good values in the population. I've heard. Drew says, GMS. Hey, Drew. I know that, Drew. Ben Ferrugia says, loving the technical analysis. Much appreciated. You're welcome, Ben. I'm very happy to help. Hit the big red subscribe button if you want to keep up to date on gold, silver, platinum analysis. We look at ratios too, and not just gold to silver ratio. I'll show you. You probably caught it every now and then. I have this pink list. It's a pink thing. If you watch if you watch back or watch when I'm doing the technical, you might even see my pink list, and it's all ratios. It's pure ratios of gold against this, gold against that, or Tesla against this, or Tesla against that. Ratios is something very important. We'll talk about that in another topic. But yes, loving it. An episode covering trading and taking it... I swear to God, I must subliminally read the comment fully before I speak. An episode covering trading and taking advantage of ratio strategies from your perspective would be very helpful. Yes, I will do that. That's exactly what I was talking about. I must have subliminally read the whole thing. Yes, I will do that, Ben. GMS says, living Adam Man, LAM in the house. 70 does sound good. Yeah, for the gold to silver ratio. I agree. Early today, yes, I was early. Ray in the house, GMS. You always like to do the hand waving. G'day, Ray. And Pete says, hey, LM, yeah, you called me out too. Missed the first 5 minutes. That's okay, people. Oh, so you missed the synchronized slurp, did you? Well, we'll give you one. Oh, Pete, I'll give you one right now. Pete, I'll give you a synchronized slurp and everyone else. Here we go, because some of you did miss it. I apologize. When you miss the slurp, you really do miss it. So here we go. Grab your tasty beverage in 3, 2. All right. Let's go to... Do you want to see... Let's do silver first, because you want to see silver. And then we'll go to gold, then we'll do platinum. Then we'll be talking about a crazy storage story. Use the time codes below if you just want to skip to that. This was sent in from a subscriber. But we'll do the quick analysis. Share the screen, people. Here we go. So that was the gold to silver ratio. Let's go straight to silver. Whoa! Dang. This is on silver on the monthly time frame. I'll pop into the... let's just go back for a sec. Let's just pop out for a second and look at the monthly. Phew! Now I'll take off my... There we go. Look at that. And I'm going to pop that on the 3 monthly, the quarterly. I did do this yesterday, I believe. Let's just sit there for a second. Let's just sit and look at that and glory in it just for a second. It is always good to pull back to the macro and to have a look. This is going all the way back to, that's in the 30s there, but reliable information, 1967, right about there, near my head, the top right of my head there, where you're looking at 1967. All the way up, 1980, cup handle. The biggest cup and handle in the history of cup and handles. What is that going to tell you? Look at it. And this is on the quarterly time frame. Each candle is 1 quarter, meaning 3 months. And look at where we are. Just zoom out, people. Look at this. Now, look, could we come back and have, okay, could it tank from here? You don't know what can happen. But based on the chart only, not even including fundamentals, but just look at the chart. It's so clean and beautiful. And look at the relative strength index down here on the quarterly time frame. We had this as it was extremely overbought. Yeah, we came down, spent that time for years and years and years, a decade or more roughly, and now we're just ticking up. The direction is upwards, people. It is looking very good for silver based on the technicals alone. Again, black swan events can happen. Who knows what happens in the world and all that stuff. Yeah, it could tank and all that, but based on just the chart alone, it's looking very, very healthy. World's biggest cup, world's largest handle forming. When it comes back to there, do you think it's going to tank a third time? Do you think it's going to be a triple top, as everyone was calling gold? Gold's a triple top, gold's a triple top. No, it went on to make new all-time highs. Okay, so silver is just lagging, and you can see that in the gold to silver ratio dropping. Whew, so does that make you excited? It certainly does for me. So let's pop into the daily time frame though, see where we came from. And okay, let's pop on all those indicators. Okay, so here's the $31 level. Do bear in mind in the short term right now, we have gone into extremely overbought and we have had that correction. And then it's great to see silver back above 31. You know, that's my final hurdle. If we close the month of May or any month above my final hurdle of 31 US dollars, then I'm saying we are 100% in a bull market, not 99%, which I'm already there, but 100%. There is no doubt for me, unless there's a black swan event, which we can't account for, blah, 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 blah. You know, March 2020, all that sort of stuff. We are coming up to election time, and we know who the incumbents are in, so you never know. Some funny stuff can happen, but that is looking positive. What I really want to quickly do, and I haven't done this yet, I do a lot of this on the fly, people, so bear with me. I am just going to do a quick bit of Fibonacci. I want to see where we are from this high. It's a very, very short-term Fibonacci. Are we at? Okay. So we are at, this is on the daily. I'll take it to the 4-hourly. Just out of interest, that high and that low, we have actually yet to break. It's good that we've broken the 0.618. I'm going very intraday here. Okay, just for a second. It's good to see we've broken the 0.786, so we have held above that, and it's held as support so far. I'm not above yet, though, the 0.786 from this recent high of $32.50 roughly, and this low that just happened the other day, or yesterday, I think it was at $29, $30 at that $30 level right there. So we're not above that yet. For me, when you have a rally and then a dip, for me, I need to see it hold above the 0.786 level before I say it's not a dead cat bounce and it's not a relief rally, it's not a dead cat bounce, and we head back down from here. So you still have to, in my opinion, some people use the 61.8 as the dead cat bounce level. If it breaks and holds above the 61.8, then the fake out doesn't occur. I use the 78.6 because it has occurred for me before in other things, crypto and things. I've certainly seen, peaks happen, then it comes back down, then it comes back to the 78.6, the 0.786 there, and we go, it's back, baby, and then boop, like that. So is that the same for the precious metals? I don't know, but I just like to watch the 0.786. Breaking and holding above that on a daily time frame says, okay, new all-time highs coming really, really soon. So I'm not there yet for silver, but it's looking positive. Above the 61.8, it's above the 0.618, I should say. Just got to get above that level, and that's at $31.96. Let's just call it 32 even, shall we? So I'd like to see the day today close above 32, or any day close above 32 to say new all-time highs are coming imminently. But if we do close the month of May above 31, then I'm saying we're just in 100% bull market anyway, and the higher prices are coming eventually. But that's just what I want to see. Let me get rid of that. And lower prices, yeah, look, you've still got this, if it is a fake out, you've still got this support level here. We have yet to test it of $29.80 US cents. You could even, if this is a fake out, I don't think it is, but if it is, if it's a fake out, you could see a quick touch and then a fake out there. But breaking $29.80, key support, $28.40 is the next level of support for me. And from here, moving up, mate, if we just move up in the next couple of days and we shoot through 32.50, then I say, look, it's the next level is that $38.50 level right there. That's it. There's nothing in the way. Nothing in the way to $38.50. And that would be my first target, which I've been calling for. And it might be really conservative now, but I had been saying at the start of the year that my target for this year for silver, I didn't think it would top out any more than between 37 to 40 US dollars. So somewhere there. I'll put that purple box in again, which I've had drawn in for a long time. It's disappeared. Don't know why I got rid of it. But between 37 and 40 has been my topping out for 2024. I might be really conservative with that. You never know. But I'll keep with it for now because I have to stick to my guns. So that is silver. Let's take a look at gold. Ooh. Great news to see that above. All right, I'm just checking that now. All right, so this is gold on the 4-hourly time frame, 2,350. We've been talking about that significant area of resistance. It has been resistance so far, but what I'd love to show you, what you want to see right here, can you see that? This peak, downtrend line. You can see when we broke above it, it came up to that new all-time high of 2,475, I think it was, US dollars. We broke below the final hurdle there of 2,400. And then look at that on the 4-hour time frame. Where did you find a little bit of 4-hour support? Bang on that downtrend line right there, which hovered around that 2350 level. So that's why I'm saying 2350. Key area of resistance. We came back down to 2330, which was acted as a level of support, you can see. And then look at this, a beautiful move back up above this downtrend line right here, and just overnight, a break back above, a spike above. Oftentimes when you have a breakout, you have a retest. So a retest back down of this downtrend line. Could that be it? Is that the breakout and retest, and then we just break through 2350 and onwards and upwards again? Quite possibly. I will say on the 4-hour time frame, that is a healthy move to see. So a break above and a retest. Let's see what happens from here. On the 4-hour time frame, look at this, very clear. Oversold, extremely oversold on the relative strength index on the 4-hourly time frame, which says that you were going to expect soon. If I was up in the night, or if I had have done an analysis yesterday evening, for example, and I had have seen that the gold price on the 4-hourly time frame was already an extremely undersold, then I would have said, ooh, higher prices coming very soon, because you go in and out of extremely overbought to extremely oversold. We're in that area. If I had have seen that, I would have said, yep, coming quickly, the higher prices. We're seeing that, and it's trending up. So there's a good chance to say that this is the breakout and the retest, and we may see a break of 2350 today in the next 24 hours. So that's looking really positive. Obviously, I want to see it hold above there. If we do break down through this trend line again, then I would say just watch out again for another test of 2330. More likely it's taken out that third time, and then you'd be heading down towards my next level of 23.05. But we're not there, so that's good. So it's looking positive. Short answer, gold looking positive on the US thing. I won't do Australian dollars today. I know a lot of you like to see Australian dollars because this is based in Australia. But again, the Australian dollar floats against the US dollar. So it really depends. You've got that extra factor. Let's take a look at, let's just quickly, what's AUD doing against USD? That's a little bit stronger today. Okay. Yeah. Let's take a look at platinum. Ooh, interesting too. Okay, this is platinum on the 4-hour time frame. Again, we have opened the day a couple of hours ago. Interesting to see. Okay, so we are trending up on the relative strength index on the 4-hour time frame. Is that, can you see that? Yeah, that's good. On the 4-hour, interesting. It looks like to me a test of 1070 is probably coming. And I would want to see it hold above there and close the day above 1070. And I'm going to do a little bit of a guess here. I'm doing this completely on the fly. I'm not, you don't have to trust me. Don't trust anything I say. Do your own due diligence and blah, blah, blah. But I promise, I have not done this previously. I'm going to take a guess and I could be supremely wrong. But if I take the Fibonacci and do it from this high and this low, I reckon right here is going to be the 0.786 level. Could be completely wrong. It just looks about right. I'd love to be right there. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? No, dang, I was wrong. Okay, no, I was wrong. So I was wrong on that. I thought that was going to be the level. Look, see that level, area of resistance, area of resistance. Okay, so it's not there. So I'm going to have to say, I'm going to actually have to go with 1,077 US dollars. If we close above 1,077 US dollars on platinum any day, today preferably, but any day, then I would say, okay, it's not a fake out. This rally is going to continue, and we're going to head up to my final hurdle of 1,115, 1,117 US dollars roughly. So we're not at that point yet, but it's looking like, look at this, left shoulder, head. Is that a little right shoulder? Is that an inverted head and shoulders? It's looking good for platinum. I'd say we're probably going to head up in the next 24 hours for platinum. However, having said that, I've been supremely flirted with before. So let me just show you the daily time frame. And here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. Just because we've already been extremely overbought for platinum on the daily time frame. However, look, in the last 24 hours, we've gone back up and we've gone back into my excited level. So I technically have to be, got to stick with my guns, I have to be excited for platinum again because we are back above this downtrend line right here. Welcome to all the new subscribers who don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This downtrend line here, anything above this downtrend line, I'm excited for platinum. Anything below that downtrend line right there, I'm not excited for platinum. Anything below this downtrend line right here, I am in depression for platinum again, okay? So we're above it, so I am excited, so great to see. So let's give some excitedness for platinum. Just have to see it clear above. I'm going to keep it at that 1,070 level for me. And then my final hurdle is at 1,115, which says we're in a total bull market. We're not there yet. We're going to close a month above 1,115. Lower prices, just look at these downtrend lines. I don't want to see it hit below 990. Otherwise, I'm going to be crying in my platinum Perth Mint Tiger. Like that. So that is platinum. All right, we're going to do some quick comments and then we're going to get to the crazy storage story. Very quickly, go back. Any quick more comments? Right here. Got to go. Black Cold's back. He made it. Black Cold, good on you, mate. Let's see. I might go through some comments after Mark Florida man has to go. That's okay. Thanks for great analysis. You are welcome. And we're going to go straight to get out of there. What does that go? Got to go. There we go. Okay. You've hit the time code. You want to know about another crazy storage story. Why am I saying another? Well, because I did a video last week or the week before, I think it was the craziest storage stories for people, where they've stored their gold and silver bullion. We had a bit of a comment, but I also shared a story from a customer that I had when I worked in the bullion industry, and it was the craziest story that I'd ever heard about. Eventually, you'll get a link sometime. It won't be immediately after the live is gone, but I'll put a link above right now to that video, and you can watch that crazy story. Use the time code, go to there. But I've got another one. We've had a subscriber send in a crazy storage story because they saw that video just recently and they wanted to share it. So it comes from Reddit. They wanted to remain anonymous on YouTube, but I've blanked out their name on Reddit as well because I wasn't sure if they meant on Reddit too. But so it's completely anonymous, but it's a real thing. I didn't make it up myself. Why would I? So I'm going to share the screen, and let's go another crazy storage story. I've had a quick read through. I was like, oh my god! Ready? This is the thumbnail for today. I might use that. So I've always got to try and do a thumbnail. So here we go. Crazy storage story. This comes from someone from Reddit. And let's read it together. Let's see. Can you see that bit? You can't see that bit down there. That's good. All right, so I'll just have to move that bit. You can't see it. Fantastic. Here we go. Saw your video. Can you see all that? Let me see. Can you see that part? I'm going to remove something. Give me a second, people. I can't move that. Okay, you're getting the little bit of the left bit cut off, but I'll read it for you. Here we go. Saw your video on the craziest storage stories. I'll tell you mine. I'd like to keep it anonymous, blah, blah, blah. My grandma had a Swiss bank account. Here we go. My grandma had a Swiss bank account. Turns out to be a terrible place to vault metal. That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that. She was born in the 20s in Germany. Uh-oh. She was 11 when the Nazis got started and 16 when the Russians captured her town. I feel like since I've said that word, this thing's not going to trend anymore. Oh well, what do you do? She walked across Europe to England. She walked across Europe to England and back. Obviously took a boat across the English Channel, yeah. Spent a couple years in refuge camps. Oh my God. Her school was bombed by planes, so she got a job at Bayer and attended night school after the war. And moved to the States at 19, became a citizen, married my grandpa, had 4 kids, bought the family farm, good on her, turned the life around after a harrowing event. After grandpa died from cancer, she married again and they started a fertilizer company. Cool. She was a member of the city board, moved from the farmhouse to a townhouse and bought a big apartment building nearby. Okay. Anyway, she was always a stacker like many Germans who knew about the Weimar Republic inflation. If you don't know what happened in the Weimar Republic, just do your research on that. Inflation city, basically. She would always give her kids a gold Krugerrand for Christmas. Can you imagine? As a kid, you get a gold Krugerrand every Christmas. And us grandkids, a silver dollar. And that's probably what got this person into stacking for them. First off, great bloody story so far. Imagine getting a silver dollar from your grandma and your parents got a gold Krugerrand every Christmas. That is just amazing. Are you doing the similar thing? Are you, handing down stuff to your kids? Do they get a little... I actually haven't been doing that, and I think I'm going to do that now. Why haven't I been doing that? Kids are at least going to get a silver coin every Christmas. But I'm stacking for them as well, so it's kind of like theirs. Anyway, at some point, here we go. At some point, she had opened a Swiss bank account or vault or something and bought 3 kilos of gold to store there. So she opened a Swiss bank account at some point, or a vault or something like that, and bought 3 kilo bars of gold to store there. Now, a lot of this you may not be able to see, and I can't move this, okay? Unless I can... Nope, I can't do that. So you'll just have to listen to me read it. What makes it a bad place? What makes it a bad place to keep gold? What makes it a bad place to keep gold was first. Here we go. They changed this Swiss bank account, the Swiss bank. They changed the rules and fees for vaulting kind of quietly. At least she didn't know about it happening while she was busy here in the United States. And they contacted her one day many years ago now and said she had missed her payment. But not to worry, because they had just sold one of her kilo bars and set up an interest-paying trust with it that was going to be able to keep paying for the vaulting services, so she had nothing to worry about. First off, a Swiss bank account, a Swiss vault, sold someone's gold without their permission. Shame on you. No, shame on you. I understand you've got to pay for stuff, but man, I get it's probably in the rules in the contract, but they change rules and fees and all that. Okay, but come on, mate. You don't get to sell people's stuff unless she was in a contract. Okay, then I get it, but still not good. So they told her that they sold this bar, so they were setting up an interest-paying trust. So they sold a kilo bar. What they had now, this interestingly, they had to sell one of the whole kilo bars because she owned kilo bars. Now, kilo bars probably obviously a lot cheaper then, but if she had now this is a lesson for everyone. If she had had, and I'm not saying sucks to you, Grandma, but what I am saying is this is a lesson. If she had bought smaller pieces as well, 1 ounce bars, Kruger. If she had had Krugerrands like she was giving her kids, if she had had gold Krugerrands as part of her vault, then they would not have had to have sold the entire gold bar. This is the lesson for stacking in various sizes, because you don't just want to stack in kilos. What happens if you need some quick cash? You need a little bit of cash, okay? So if she had had 1 ounce gold Krugerrands, then they would have just sold enough to cover the fees. But they had to sell the entire gold bar because that's all she had, 3 gold bars. And so they obviously paid for the fees, and then they set up a trust, an interest-paying trust. So they said that'll keep paying for the vaulting service, so she had nothing to worry about. But here we go. Then they also passed a few laws in Switzerland over the years. I'm not sure exactly what, but they all say I'm not sure exactly what they all say, these laws, but it made it illegal to take gold out of the country. Okay. Now, unfortunately, she passed away probably 10 years ago. And my dad and siblings are just now, able to, after much headache, get the fiat US dollar value out of those 2 kilos based on spot price from nearly 2 years ago, and a tiny amount of a few thousand from closing the trust. And down here, you might not be able to see it. It says, and actually, let's see if I can show you. No, you can't see it. It says, really reminds me that if you don't hold it, you don't own it. She would have been better off burying it in a plastic tube in the ground and leaving a map. That's a harken back to the video in which the customer I just watched the video, watched the story, but they buried their gold in a plastic tube, buried it somewhere, you'll find out where in the video, and then just came back a couple of years later and dug it up. So yeah, she would have been better off burying it in a plastic tube in the ground and leaving a map. Yep. So that's the third-party counter risk that you take. Now, thank you for sharing that story. Very much appreciated. That's a crazy story. And that highlights a bunch of things. So I'm going to get your comments, and we're going to talk about what that highlights. So thanks for sharing that, anonymous person on Reddit. If anyone else has crazy storage stories or show and tell or anything like that, hit me up with an email at gmstackers@gmail.com, gmstackers@gmail.com, and send them in, and you can remain anonymous. Just tell me you want to remain anonymous, and I'll share your piece of the day, your silver or your gold or your whatever, show and tell, or tell me a story that you've heard about, whatever, and I'll share your story as well. Let's get some comments on that. Any comments? I'll go down. David Williams says, been giving the grandkids a silver coin every year for a few years. Fantastic. I should just do that so they have the ownership of it. I should do that. Rather than just holding it for them, which I do. I should do that. Living Adamant says, hit up the likes for Joe. Yes, please. Hit the likes, people. It helps with the algorithm. Trying to cook a late breakfast here, multitasking. Okay, so, all right, let's talk about the few things here. So anyway, get your last comments in, because we're going to end the show in a few minutes or so. So get your last comments in about this crazy storage story, or if you have any questions, any comments, get them in right now, and then I'll read them out, and then we'll go do a synchronized slip and get out of here. But here are the lessons to learn from that. Number one, as I just talked about, you've got to diversify. You have to diversify within size for that very reason. Now imagine, there's some other extenuating circumstances with that, but imagine just if, potentially, and again, I don't mean to be your grandma's stupid. No, not at all. Number one, buying gold in the first place, learned the lessons from the Weimar Republic, or heard from her parents what happened there. So stacked gold for the longer term, great idea. So number one, good on your grandma. Go gran. But what it could have been done differently is, of course, buying in smaller sizes for that reason of what happens if you need a quick bit of cash and you need to offload. You just need a little bit. You don't need a kilo bar worth. So that's why it's worth diversifying within size. So that's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, this is the if you don't hold it, you don't own it. I completely get that. There are levels to that though. So I would suggest that, what could have been done differently? Obviously, if your grandma had have had the option to before they did the rule of you can't take the gold out of Switzerland, I would have potentially have taken a trip to Switzerland, grabbed the gold, and brought it back to at least a vaulting service somewhere in where she was living. You want to keep it to where it's not difficult to get to. So look, I understand if you don't hold it, you don't own it, but it depends what hold means at the same time, because there is counterparty risk in everything. So you've got to think about counterparty risk. So you can lessen your counterparty risk as much as possible, but you've got to do what's right for you. So I would suggest, moving to the States, having the Swiss gold in it, having your gold in another country. I couldn't imagine that. As I said in yesterday's video, and I'll keep saying it till the cows come home, don't store in your own house. Now, you're different to me, so let me put it in my personal perspective. I don't store, except for a couple of little show and tell pieces and little bits and pieces. I don't store my stack in my house. Why? Because of what I do. I've worked in the bullion industry. You know me. People know me. They know my name. They know my first name and last name. For many years, when I worked in the bullion industry, I actually wouldn't let my last name get out there. But I do this show, and I've been in this business long enough now that people just know my bloody last name. They've figured it out, whatever. My name's Joe Main, right? And I say it on the thing. I'm Joe Main, blah, blah, blah. You know my name. You know my face, etc. I've worked at different bullion dealers. So I'm in the industry. Am I going to be dumb enough to store anything of major consequence in my own house? No. So my counterparty risk is actually more if I were to store it in my own home. So that's why I don't want to hold it. I don't want to hold it because of my particular circumstance. So for me, again, I've worked in the industry. I've got contacts everywhere. I can store in a lot of different places, and in some places I can store it for free. So or the cost is, I get mates rates. So I'm very much covered there, okay? But that's different for you. Your circumstance might be different. But this is the lesson here. If you don't hold it as close to, I think maybe the better, and maybe we can come up with a different phrase. Maybe we come up with a different phrase, but if you don't hold it close, you don't own it. Maybe that's better. If you don't hold it close, or if you don't hold it closer, you don't own it. Or the closer you hold it, the more you own it. Maybe, is that better? The closer you hold it, the more you own it? Because I don't like the if you don't hold it, you don't own it. Because it just means, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So I've got to carry my entire stack with me everywhere I go. I go to work, got to carry my stack. Leave the house, got to carry my stack, because there is counterparty risk. If you store it at home and you go on holiday, or you go to work and no one's in the house, you can still be in the house and get robbed violently. So there is a risk, no matter what you do. So I would suggest that. Yes, I'm going on a rant here, but yes, if you don't hold it, you don't own it isn't true. It's just like when I said there's no such thing as intrinsic value. There is no such thing as intrinsic value. Link above to that video right now. You're going to get angry with me? Watch the video and I'll explain it. There's no such thing as intrinsic value. If you don't hold it, if you don't own it, isn't true. It's subjective. For me, it's more risky to hold it on my personage in my house. And I would say for your gran, it was riskier holding it in a different country. Would have been better if she could have repatriated it to her country where she lived in the United States. So these are the lessons that I learned. And it's great that you've shared this, because we learn these lessons. So you know what to do. Basically, you do what's comfortable for you, lessen your risk as much as possible, and it depends on your individual circumstance. Cool. So that is the crazy storage story, another one. And we're going to read out some last comments, and then we're getting out of here. So, Living Animan said he was trying to cook a late breakfast here, multitasking. That's what we'd love to see. Yes, hit up those likes for Joe. Yes, please. We talked about that one. And Living Animan says, great story, my kind of granny. Yeah. Yeah, I inherited some. I told you before I inherited some of these from my gran. She hoarded the good old 1966 50-cent rounds right there, 50-cent coins, the round 50-cent coins, and I got a bunch of those when she passed away. But she wasn't like doing it because she was fleeing a country or anything like that. But yeah, got some from my gran. And lastly, I think this is going to be the last comment from David Williams, private vaulted storage for the win. Yes, that can work for many people. Now, for many people, it's you do your own risk to reward, your own cost and benefit analysis. So it's completely individual. Again, this if you don't hold it, you don't own it thing is great for the person who's saying it and they have their conviction if they don't hold it. But do they work in the bullion industry? Are they single? Do they have a family? Are they 50 years old and they've had their family and they now live on their own in the outback somewhere and no one knows where they live? Yeah, great. Or are you like me, who someone could, potentially follow from somewhere? They know my face, so I'm not holding in my own house, right? So it really depends. So private vaulted storage for the win for you, David. That is fantastic. That might not work for other people, but that's good. Yes, I think privately vaulted is good. Here's the one thing you don't do, and we're going to do another video all about the best places to store and not to store. We'll do a video on that. I'll get to your comments, Strange As, in just a second. But here's the one thing you never do, ever, and I'll do this on another video. I'm going to get really close. You can see all the lines on the face and everything. You never, ever, I know I rant on, but you just have to get used to it, people. You never, ever store in a bank. And you know the reasons why. Bank holidays, banks close, all that. Don't store anything. Bullion, I was going to say cash, but don't have a security deposit box at a bank because they can go on a bank holiday anytime they want. In a time of large economic uncertainty, let's call it that, banks can close like that. They can just go, you know what, you can't come in and withdraw your money. Sorry, we're limiting bank transfers to $1,000 a day or $100 a day. They can pick any number they want. And they can just close the bank, the physical bank, and say, sorry, so don't store anything in a bank. That's number one. That's actually number one versus even storing in your own house. I can see cases to store stuff in your own house. That's probably number two. Number one, never store in a bank. Anyway, and Strange As says, what's up? All right, that is the last comment. We're going to go, people. Thank you for watching. I think this has been a really great one today. Like, share, and subscribe. You have your hits and you have your misses. This is definitely a hit. And to join the hits, join the family, GMS family, big red subscribe button. 265 subscribers, can't be wrong. In the next 24 hours, there's going to be more than that because you want to join the family. You want to join the winning team, of which we are, and we're just winning constantly. 6 weeks. We're doing this show 6 weeks, 265 subscribers. Be one of the first 1,000 subscribers, and you can look back in time in decades from now when, I'm a hologram and all that, and you can say you were one of the first 1,000. So grab your tasty beverage, and we're going to synchronize Slurp together in 3, 2... Thanks very much for watching, lovely people. We'll see you tomorrow at around about this time. I'm trying to make it a little bit earlier, but just keep an eye out. Just hit the notification bell, then we'll see when the live is. So don't always assume it's at 10 a.m. Don't always assume. You always got to check because I may be mixing it up, people. That's it. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of it. Get to work, people. Stay safe, stay informed, keep stacking, and see you tomorrow.